Christmas, it's a time for joy, a time for family, a time for warm lights, sparkling snow, and the sweet smell of gingerbread. We deck the halls, we sing carols, we exchange gifts, laughter echoing through cozy homes, the spirit of giving abounds. Children's eyes light up with anticipation. The magic of Christmas is almost tangible. It's a time for traditions, for stories passed down through generations. But beyond the carols and the twinkling lights, a different kind of Christmas tale unfolds. These are stories whispered around flickering fireplaces, tales of cautionary figures and creatures lurking in the shadows. Legends passed down through centuries, meant to remind us that even in the darkest months, good does not exist without a touch of evil. These stories are not for the faint of heart. They are tales of punishments and lessons learned, a reminder that the spirit of Christmas is not all sugar plums and candy canes. It's a time for introspection, for looking inward as much as we celebrate outward. These dark legends, though often hidden, exist in cultures around the world. From the snow-covered Alps to the frozen landscapes of Scandinavia, they are a testament to the enduring power of storytelling, the need to find meaning in the shadows, even during the most festive time of year. These stories force us to confront our fears, to acknowledge the darkness that exists alongside the light. They remind us that the true spirit of Christmas lies not just in celebrating the good, but in understanding the duality of life itself. Are you ready to explore? Let's begin. Welcome to Screamville. The origins of Christmas as a holiday are rooted in both Christian and pre-Christian traditions, and yes, its history has some darker and fascinating aspects. Christmas is celebrated by Christians as the birth of Jesus Christ. The Bible doesn't specify the exact date of his birth, but by the 4th century, December 25th was chosen by the Roman Church. Why December 25th? Some scholars believe this date was selected to coincide with pre-existing pagan festivals, like the Roman Saturnalia or the Feast of Sol Invictus, the unconquered sun, to make Christianity more appealing to converts. Early Christian writings does not mention Christmas. The focus was more on Jesus' death and resurrection. Christmas only became an important religious celebration in later centuries. Long before Christmas, many cultures celebrated the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year, around December 21st till the 22nd. These festivities marked the return of the sun and longer days. Saturnalia, Roman, a raucous festival honoring Saturn, the god of agriculture, held from December 17th till the 23rd. It involved feasting, gift-giving, and a temporary reversal of social roles. Yule, Norse, a celebration of the rebirth of the sun god and the return of light, involving Yule logs, feasting, and honoring nature. Early Puritans in 17th century England and colonial America considered Christmas to be too pagan and rowdy. They banned its celebration due to its ties to drunken revelry and debauchery. Medieval Christmas celebrations were often wild and unrestrained, with peasants turning the tables on the upper class in a form of misrule. This period could sometimes descend into chaos and violence. By the 19th century, Christmas underwent a transformation into the family-friendly, gift-centered holiday we know today. Authors like Charles Dickens helped reshape it with stories emphasizing charity and goodwill, as seen in A Christmas Carol. The darker elements of Christmas's origins stem from its deep ties to ancient traditions involving death, rebirth, and the cycle of nature. While the Christian narrative focuses on hope and redemption, the pre-Christian roots include themes of darkness, struggle, and renewal during the bleakest time of the year. So while today's Christmas is more about joy and light, its past has shadows of wild feasts, pagan gods, and supernatural tales. In the heart of Europe, hidden amidst the joyous celebrations of Christmas, lurks a figure far different from jolly old Saint Nick. He is Krampus, a beast-like creature with horns, fangs, and a tongue of fire. Imagine, if you will, the shadow of Santa Claus given life. Where Santa rewards the good, Krampus punishes the bad. He is the antithesis of Christmas cheer, a reminder that good behavior isn't just a suggestion, it's a tradition. He is the dark to Santa's light. From Alpine folklore to modern legend, Krampus's origins are shrouded in ancient folklore. Some believe he is a remnant of pagan deities, while others see him as a personification of winter's harsh realities. Whatever his roots, Krampus has become a staple of Christmas tradition in parts of Austria, Germany, and beyond. He is a figure both feared and revered, a reminder that even in the darkest months, there is a balance to be struck between merriment and mischief. His legend, passed down through generations, has evolved over time. Each year, on the eve of St. Nicholas Day, the tradition of Krampuslauf takes place. Groups of people, often fueled by holiday spirits of a different kind, don elaborate Krampus costumes and take to the streets. Bells and chains clang, the air fills with the sounds of revelry and trepidation. It's a night of festive fear, a reminder that even in the heart of the holiday season, there's room for a little fright. But the Krampuslauf is more than just a spooky parade. It's a living, breathing example of how ancient traditions can endure. While Krampus may seem like a purely terrifying figure, there's more to him than meets the eye. His presence serves as a reminder of the consequences of bad behavior. He is a symbol of the duality of life, of the light and darkness that exist within us all. He reminds us that true joy is often found in acknowledging the shadows, not just basking in the light. Krampus, in his own way, helps to reinforce the spirit of Christmas. He encourages reflection and self-improvement. A venture now from the snowy Alps to the rolling hills of Pennsylvania, where another Christmas figure lurks. Forget the reindeer and sleigh. This harbinger of holiday cheer travels by foot, a menacing figure known as Belsnickel. Imagine a man, wild-eyed and disheveled, his face hidden beneath a thick beard, his clothing ragged and patched. He carries a sack overflowing with treats, but don't be fooled by the promise of sweets. Belsnickel's arrival signals a time for reckoning. Belsnickel's roots, like many Christmas traditions, lie in the heart of Europe. He hails from the Rhineland region of Germany, a figure steeped in ancient folklore. German immigrants, fleeing religious persecution, brought with them their traditions, their language, and their stories. They settled in Pennsylvania, creating a unique cultural enclave known as Pennsylvania Dutch country. Here, amidst the farmlands and forests, Belsnickel found a new home. The name Belsnickel is derived from two German words, Belsen, meaning to wallop or to clad in fur, and Nickel, a diminutive of Nicholas. This etymology reflects both his punitive nature and his connection to Saint Nicholas. In German folklore, Belsnickel is typically depicted as a grizzled, fur-clad figure. He often wears a mask and ragged clothing, giving him a wild and menacing appearance. Belsnickel would visit homes ahead of St. Nicholas's Day, December 6th, to evaluate children's behavior. He carried a switch for punishing naughty children and a sack filled with treats like nuts, fruits, and candies for rewarding the well-behaved. This figure served as a way to reinforce moral behavior among children, combining fear with the promise of reward. German immigrants brought the Belsnickel tradition to the United States in the 18th and 19th centuries, particularly to Pennsylvania, where the Pennsylvania Dutch, German-speaking settlers, preserved the custom. In Pennsylvania, Belsnickel retained his role as a disciplinarian, but his visits became more theatrical. He would appear unexpectedly, often creating a mix of excitement and fear, demanding children recite a poem or demonstrate good behavior before receiving gifts. In some communities, particularly in Pennsylvania, Belsnickel has experienced a revival as part of holiday traditions. Festivals and reenactments often feature him as a reminder of historical customs. Belsnickel gained broader attention after being featured in modern media such as The Office, in the Dwight Christmas episode, and The Christmas Chronicles too, where he was depicted as a mischievous anti-hero. While often compared to Krampus due to their punitive roles, Belsnickel is less demonic and more human-like, emphasizing his Germanic Christian roots. Belsnickel serves as a bridge between ancient pagan traditions and Christian celebrations, highlighting the blending of cultures that shaped holiday customs in Europe and America. His role as a stern, yet just figure contrasts with the modern, commercialized portrayal of Santa Claus, keeping alive the traditional lessons of morality and responsibility during the festive season. Journey deeper into the heart of winter, where the air grows colder and the nights longer. Here, amidst the snow-covered peaks and icy winds, another Christmas legend unfolds. Forget the gentle image of angels and carols. This tale speaks of a queen, not of a kingdom, but of a season. This is the story of Frau Perchta, a name whispered in hushed tones by those who remember the old ways. Frau Perchta is a fascinating figure from Alpine folklore, known for her dual nature as a benevolent and malevolent spirit. Her legend has roots in pre-Christian Germanic traditions and evolved over centuries, blending with Christian and regional beliefs. Frau Perchta is believed to have originated as a pagan goddess associated with the cycle of the year, nature, and domestic tasks. She may have been linked to ancient fertility and winter deities, such as Holda or Frigg, who oversaw spinning, weaving, and the protection of women. Perchta. The name likely derives from the Old High German word berat, meaning bright or shining, suggesting an association with light and possibly the rebirth of the sun during midwinter festivals. With the spread of Christianity, Frau Perchta's image became more sinister. She was demonized as a witch-like figure, embodying fear and punishment for those who did not conform to societal or religious norms. Frau Perchta became closely associated with the 12 days of Christmas, December 25th to January 6th, and particularly with Epiphany, January 6th. This period was seen as a liminal time when the veil between worlds was thin and spirits could interact with the living. She punishes the lazy or disobedient, sometimes in gruesome ways, such as slitting their bellies open and stuffing them with straw or rocks. This imagery likely served as a warning to maintain moral and social order. Her legend emphasizes the importance of cleanliness, hard work, and respecting cultural traditions. Frau Perchta is often described as a shapeshifter, sometimes depicted as a radiant woman dressed in white, symbolizing purity and reward. Other times, she appears as an old, haggard woman with a hooked nose, wild hair, and ragged clothing. This duality reflects her ability to reward or punish. In some regions, Frau Perchta is likened to or associated with Krampus, another Alpine folklore figure known for punishing the naughty. However, unlike Krampus, she also rewards the good, underscoring her duality. In some traditions, January 6th was known as Berchtold's Day, when offerings of food and drink were left for Frau Perchta to ensure good fortune. Frau Perchta remains a prominent figure in Alpine folklore, celebrated in various festivals and parades, particularly in Austria and Bavaria. These events often include Perchten, groups of masked figures representing her followers or attendants. Her legend endures as a reminder of the balance between hard work and indulgence during the holiday season, and the importance of maintaining household order. The Yule are lads that are mischievous entities tied to Yuletide traditions. These figures embody the darker, mischievous side of holiday lore, contrasting the modern, benevolent depictions of Santa Claus. The Yule lads are a group of 13 mischievous figures from Icelandic Christmas folklore. Each has a unique personality and behavior, often characterized by their tendency to steal or play pranks on households during the Christmas season. The Yule lads are deeply rooted in Icelandic traditions and were originally portrayed as trolls or ogre-like creatures. They are the sons of two terrifying trolls, Gryla and Lepaludi. Gryla, a monstrous ogress who comes down from the mountains to kidnap naughty children and cook them in her pot. Lepaludi, her lazy and somewhat less menacing husband. They are also associated with the Yule cat, a gigantic feline that devours those who don't receive new clothes for Christmas. Each Yule lad arrives on a specific night leading up to Christmas, starting on December 12th, and departs in the same order after Christmas, with the last one leaving on January 6th. In other regions of Europe, Yule-associated beings with thieving or malevolent tendencies also exist. Today, the Yule lads have been softened into playful gift givers in Iceland. They leave small treats or gifts in the shoes of children who have been good, or a potato for the naughty ones. Here's a detailed list of all 13 Yule lads and what each one does. Stekkjastauer, sheepcoat clod, arrives December 12th, departs December 25th. He tries to harass sheep, but his stiff legs make him clumsy. Giljagar, Gullygawk, arrives December 13th, departs December 26th. He hides in gullies and waits for an opportunity to sneak into cowsheds to steal milk. Stufr, Stubby, arrives December 14th, departs December 27th. The shortest of the brothers, he steals leftover pans to eat crusts and scraps of food. The Vorusleikir, Spoonlicker, arrives December 15th, departs December 28th. He steals wooden spoons to lick the remnants of food, often leaving people confused about why their spoons are missing. Potiska Phil, Pot Scraper, arrives December 16th, departs December 29th. He sneaks into homes to steal unwashed pots and lick the leftovers. Askaslaikir, Bowl Licker, arrives December 17th, departs December 30th. He hides under beds and waits for someone to place a bowl, often used for snacking, down so he can steal and lick it clean. Herda Skeller, door slammer, arrives December 18th, departs December 31st. He loves to slam doors, especially at night, disturbing everyone's sleep. Skyrgummer, Skyr Gobbler, arrives December 19th, departs January 1st. He has an insatiable appetite for skyr, an Icelandic dairy product similar to yogurt, and steals it whenever he can. Bjugna Kraikir, sausage swiper, arrives December 20th, departs January 2nd. He hides in rafters and steals sausages that are being smoked or stored. Glugagagir, window peeper, arrives December 21st, departs January 3rd. A sneaky lad who peers through windows to find items to steal, making him one of the more creepy lads. Gatathafur, doorway sniffer, arrives December 22nd, departs January 4th. With an enormous nose, he sniffs out baked goods, particularly lafabröd, Icelandic leaf bread. Kettkroker, meat hook, arrives December 23rd, departs January 5th. He uses a hook to steal meat, especially from hanging larders. Kertasnikir, candle stealer, arrives December 24th, departs January 6th. He follows children to steal their candles, which in old times were made of tallow and edible. Did you know that in past centuries, particularly in medieval and early modern Europe, groups of wassailers or revelers would go door to door during the Christmas season, singing songs and demanding food, drink, or money? This practice, often called wassailing, was a blend of festive celebration and social tension. The custom of wassailing was not always a polite affair. In some cases, groups of carolers, especially those from lower economic classes, would use the opportunity to demand food and alcohol from wealthier households. Refusal to provide these offerings could lead to harassment, vandalism, or even break-ins. Wassailers would often sing songs that were less about spreading holiday cheer and more about pressuring the homeowners to comply. For example, lyrics might explicitly state that they wouldn't leave until they were given something. Some songs included veiled or outright threats, such as the promise to cause trouble if their demands were not met. In extreme cases, carolers would force their way into homes if their demands weren't met. This behavior blurred the line between festive celebration and extortion. These actions reflected broader social dynamics of the time, where the wealthy were often expected to provide charity to the poor during the holiday season. Refusing wassailers might be seen as miserly or uncharitable, leading to retaliation. Over time, wassailing evolved into the more structured and benign tradition of Christmas caroling. The rougher aspects of the custom diminished as societal norms changed, and Christmas celebrations became more focused on family and religious observance. Today's caroling bears little resemblance to these rowdy origins, emphasizing goodwill, community, and joy rather than coercion or class conflict. However, the history of wassailing is a reminder of the complex and sometimes turbulent roots of modern holiday traditions. Did you know that milk and cookies began as a Great Depression ritual? The tradition of pairing milk and cookies as a treat is often associated with a sense of comfort and nostalgia, and its roots in the Great Depression offer a glimpse into how economic hardship shaped American culture. During the Great Depression, 1929-1939, financial resources were scarce, and families had to stretch their budgets as far as possible. Cookies, especially simple recipes like sugar cookies, oatmeal cookies, or biscuits, were made with inexpensive ingredients like flour, sugar, and butter. Similarly, milk was a relatively affordable and nutritious beverage that many families had access to. Together, they formed a cost-effective and satisfying snack. The combination of milk and cookies offered not just physical sustenance, but emotional comfort. In a time of widespread uncertainty and despair, these foods represented small joys and a semblance of normalcy. Families could gather around the table with this simple treat, fostering a sense of togetherness and warmth. Many households made cookies as part of community efforts to help those less fortunate. During the holiday season in particular, families who could afford it might bake cookies to share with neighbors, friends, or struggling families. Milk and cookies also became a symbolic gesture of hospitality, emphasizing the importance of giving even in hard times. The tradition was further popularized by the rise of marketing campaigns and media during and after the Depression. Recipes for cookies paired with milk were widely shared in newspapers, cookbooks, and eventually television programs, reinforcing the duo as an ideal snack. Over time, The pairing became ingrained in American culture. While the Santa Claus tradition of leaving out milk and cookies for him on Christmas Eve existed before the Great Depression, the practice gained renewed significance during the era. Parents encouraged children to leave the treat for Santa, blending the practice with Depression-era values of gratitude, sharing, and making do with simple joys. Milk and cookies thus transcended their humble beginnings to become an enduring symbol of comfort, nostalgia, and generosity in American culture. The tradition continues today, deeply rooted in its history of resilience and simplicity. These dark Christmas legends, though unsettling to some, are more than just spooky stories. They offer a glimpse into the human psyche, reflecting our deepest fears and anxieties. Imagine, if you will, early communities huddled around flickering fires, the long winter nights stretching before them like an abyss. The world outside was a dangerous place full of unknowns. Predators lurked in the forest, disease spread quickly, and the ever-present threat of starvation loomed large. It was in this environment, where survival was never guaranteed, that these tales took root. These dark Christmas legends, far from spoiling the festive cheer, add a layer of complexity and depth to the holiday season. They remind us that life is not always about twinkling lights and sugar plums. There's a darkness too, a wildness, a reminder that even in the depths of winter there's a primal energy at play. These legends, in their own way, help us to appreciate the light even more. They remind us that true joy is not about ignoring the darkness, but about acknowledging it, understanding it, and ultimately choosing to embrace the light. Christmas, for all its twinkling lights and carols, isn't just a feel-good story. It's got a dark side, a reminder that life ain't always pretty. We string lights on trees, but shadows still lurk beneath the branches. We sing about peace on earth, but ancient fears linger in the back of our minds. That's the thing about Christmas, see? It's a time of contrasts. Joy and sorrow, light and darkness, generosity and greed, they're all part of the deal. Now, some folks might say these dark legends, these Krampus and Belznickel stories, they're downright scary, and yeah, they can be. But there's a reason they've stuck around all these years. They remind us that life ain't all candy canes and sugar plums. There's a wildness out there, a darkness that we gotta face. But here's the thing, facing those fears, acknowledging the shadows, it makes the light shine even brighter. So this Christmas, when you're gathered around the tree, lights twinkling, carols playing, take a moment to remember the dark side too. Don't shy away from it, embrace it. Because in that balance, in that acceptance of life's duality, that's where the real magic lies. That's the spirit of Christmas, the understanding that even in the darkest of nights, the light will always find a way through. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and don't hesitate to subscribe. As always, thanks for watching.